Hey guys, welcome to the American Crime After Show right here on theStream.tv. I'm Drexel Heard, your host. I'm here with my amazing panel, Miss Meghan Lamontagne, Miss Mercedeh Allen, and Mr. Jack Hind over there. A lot of crazy, amazing things happened in this episode, so we're gonna get right into what you guys thought about tonight's episode. Because I thought it was amazing. Yes. I even tweeted it out, and then Felicity Huffman, who plays Barb, retweeted my tweet.
That deserves oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So
awesome.
and that's how good that episode was, because I know the episode was so slow last week, but this really got us into. We talked about the characters last week, and it really got into what people love about television. It really got into all of that. What do you think?
I thought that the episode was really good. You know, I think that people are harsh on a first opening show of a season. You kind of can't judge a show off the first episode. You have to get into it. I still think that the episode was a little slow. I know we discussed that too. I think that this is a show where they're going to string us along, and I think towards the middle of the season, things will start to pick up. But they're just setting the show up for us. You know, we just got here, so they have to kind of put the pieces together. There's a lot of characters, a lot of people that we're being introduced to. So I think eventually it'll start to pick up.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling it as well. I think this episode was pretty much, it took the pilot and tied it in a nice little bow almost. It really, because at the end of the pilot, I don't know about you, but I was still like, something's gone on that I didn't catch. I mean, fortunately, you two rewatched it. I wish I'd have had the time to, but I'm still going to. But I really feel like this episode answered a lot of those unanswered questions that we had at the end of the first one.
And I was telling them during one of the commercial breaks, I feel like last week, you know, people are so used to, in this day and age, like being quick. Everything's quick. And this is a show where you're really supposed to appreciate the story and take a step back and be like, this is like real. This is what happens every day in real life. So let's enjoy the slow-mo of it a little bit, even though it might be a little bit difficult because we're used to fast pace, but I'm enjoying it.
Right, and I think a little bit later on we're going to get to what America's really talking about this show and how they feel. But we're going to jump right into our favorite characters, Barb, Russ, and now we've got the Carlins, who are Gwen's parents. They've made a much more, they're much more involved in the show right now. Yes. So Russ goes and talks to Matt's neighbors, and he wants to find a little bit more about Matt's life, because in the last episode they found out that Matt had drugs in his apartment or in his house with Gwen. So my thing was, do we really think it was Matt's drugs? Because it could have been Gwen's drugs. This is where we're starting to find out where people are starting. What do you guys think about who?
I want to know who was the good one, who was the bad one, because like obviously it's all been thrown on Matt at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
Like you said, when detective, was it Thomas or Thompson? I'm not sure. I feel like it was.
Oh,
Thomas.
I think it was Thompson.
Thompson. Let us know if you know.
If you
just tweet us in. I'll know it right now, so please do. But yeah, when she mentioned that they'd found drugs in his house, they didn't say obviously who. And when you brought that up, I was like, oh my gosh, because that didn't click to me. The penny didn't drop. But when you said, what if they're Gwen's drugs? I was like, ah. So Matt was the cover-up because Gwen's in hospital. Gwen's been raped, which we now find out that it may not have been rape. Consent.
Well, they said it wasn't rape.
What?
For sure.
What? Yeah. Right. What? But the way. What did they say? Consensual
sex.
And there's
more than one.
Right, and there's more than one. So this is a character thing for Gwen now. Gwen was this victim at the beginning, and now we're starting to find out a little. The onion is starting to be peeled back on these people. And are these people actually victims? And they are, in the sense of she was assaulted and they were robbed and Matt dies. Yes, they're victims in that sense, but are they victims in their actual life?
Are they innocent?
Are they innocent victims?
I feel like the parents, what are their last names again?
There's the Carlins, and then there's the Skokies.
The Carlins. I feel like the Carlins know more than the Skokies at this point, because I feel like the conversation between the wife and the husband of the what's the woman in the hospital's name?
Gwen.
Gwen. Oh my God, there's so many names. But I like blonde moment. Sorry, but I feel like they're keeping something from the Skokies, because he keeps saying, okay, like Russ is asking questions, blah blah blah. So they knew that their relationship was not peachy keen.
Well, even when they were talking about when Russ and what was Mr. Carlin's name? Tom. Thank you. When Tom was talking to Russ about trying to persuade Barb to let them bury the body in Oakland, their hometown, he was very much saying how Felicity, what's her name in it?
Felicity
Barb.
Barb
Went to the police and, went to the reporters and gave out this perfect couple speech, and how it almost made him feel sick that he was reading that. He said he hated reading that because he knows that they weren't perfect, but he said they were real. He said they were a real
Skokies
couple.
don't know anything about their son.
About their own families. They've all been so separate.
There.
Exactly.
They weren't there to see. So definitely I agree that the Carlins do know a little bit more. Now, as far as the drugs being Gwen's, I
think that's far-fetched?
I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched, but I think that Gwen, I don't know if the drugs were hers, but she definitely has something about her character and her storyline that we're going to catch up into when she wakes up.
Guys, I have it. I love when I get light bulbs mid-after show.
We need one above your head.
This is what's going on, and let me tell you right now. So Matt, Matt's the one that passed away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark is the brother.
Yes.
Yes.
Matt was hiding the drugs for Mark.
Oh.
I don't think that the drugs are theirs.
But who do you
That would be
think?
interesting.
But we also have not only the drug part, we also have who was Gwen sleeping with?
Right.
But that's a
Who
situation
was
in
she
and of it.
sleeping
Yeah.
with? So that's a
Have
whole.
we met Mark yet?
We haven't met Mark yet.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
the other
not coming
brother.
yet.
Okay.
One of the things that I found interesting about the parents is that Tom and Barb, Tom Carlin, Gwen's dad, and Barb think alike in this, I want to know answers.
Yes.
Whereas Russ and Eve are very passive about it. They want to.
They care about
they care about their
child.
child. And, at the end, Eve is like, showing the picture of Gwen and saying, this is our daughter.
Right.
Whereas Tom is trying to find, Russ is trying to find answers about his son, going to the house, trying to figure out where all
Taking
this
his
comes
own,
from.
he's trying to take it all in his own stride as well.
And going to Barb, and because I love Felicity Huffman in this show, I mean, she's so
great.
good in this show. We talked about Barb being racist. Now, personally, I don't know if I think that Barb is, I think people have racist tendencies, but I don't know if, I feel like her son got shot. All she knows is her son was allegedly shot by a black guy. Then there were Mexicans involved. So she's tying stereotypes she's tying these people and then projecting it out onto the detective who was black, and she was in the room and she didn't want to have that interaction with her. She was also, just the way she looked at everybody else that was not white in that room. I don't know, maybe this is just me, I don't know if Barb is actually a racist or if this is just.
I thought that was massively inappropriate.
I mean, it was definitely
Once
inappropriate.
Jack pointed it out, I was like,
I'm sorry,
ooh,
but
you're
that was racism to a point. Before she even said, it was either, I can't say sexism because she's a woman, because it was either she looked at her like that because she was a woman detective, which I highly doubt because herself is a woman. The second reason, because she was black. Soon as she walked up, she looked up at her, and already the look of disgust on her face.
But do you
was
feel
unreal.
like she looked at her because of Carter?
Do
you feel like she looked at her because Carter was black and because she?
No,
I
don't think.
Okay.
I think it's
yeah.
offensive to make that assumption towards someone. If that was her, if she was only making that face because the guy who shot her son was black, the reason that she's doing this to a detective who's like worked her ass off, like she's a detective, she's made herself here, and you're looking at they're not on the same page.
Right.
Carter and this detective are in two completely different
I'm
worlds.
only talking
How
about
can you
their
bring them
skin
together?
color. I'm playing devil's
Well-
advocate. I'm only talking about you associate black people with black people. She automatically associated. She automatically associated this idea that at the end she says, well, if this was a white. We
that's
don't,
what the conversation I was gonna bring
Al
up.
Sharpton would be out there and they're doing that. She's associating all black people
I know,
for
but
one
that's still
thing.
racist.
Right
What
now.
she said to the detective,
Still
she was
racist.
like,
Yeah.
"You're."
Right, I'm not saying
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm saying,
Okay.
do you feel like deep down she
It's
is
just
racist,
against-
or is she in the moment? Yes, she's against everybody that's not white right now. Is my question.
I think it's everybody She's against everybody
She
right
is
now
against-
because,
true.
like I said last
against-
week, she just has trust issues.
Right.
She doesn't trust anyone. She's trying to figure out what the hell happened to her son.
Right.
Yes.
She doesn't care about anyone else, and it's a little irrational at times.
I can-
Because
It
it's
is a
like,
little
Barb,
irrational.
chill out.
Chill out. I know, she's crazy.
She has so many people trying to help her, and I can see maybe I feel like she has something. Like I said to you, I feel like she's got something hidden in the past.
I
like
agree.
something
Oh, absolutely.
is
Everybody's
under
got
her
something.
that's like she doesn't clearly she doesn't trust anyone. She doesn't even trust the police, and then she goes to that extreme to think that a black police officer would only try and blame the victim so that the black guy didn't look bad. It's like, that's so far.
And I think also too, she, on the other side of things, she raised her two sons on her own. So I think she's taking offense that someone would come to her and say her son was dealing drugs.
Barb is definitely.
It's just so painful.
She's
to
definitely
her.
in denial
She's in
about
denial.
about
Entirely.
her.
She doesn't
her
believe
kids.
the drug
I
thing
mean,
at
as a
all.
parent, I'm not a parent, but like I understand that how parents, want to believe the best in their children.
Right.
So, Barb wants to believe the best in Matt, and Tom wants to believe the best in Gwen, and so does Russ and Eve. So we would definitely want to know what you guys think about. I mean, how do you feel about Barb? People on Twitter do not like
They hate
Barb.
Barb.
A lot of
They
people don't
They
like Barb.
hate Barb.
People cannot stand her.
Hate Barb, but don't hate Felicity Huffman.
Right. Don't hate Felicity. She's so nice. So now we move on
Is
to.
that because she retweeted you? No, I'm just kidding.
We're repping Felicity now. We're like, yo, Felicity.
From Desperate Housewives. Okay,
Right.
I've loved. She's been
No,
amazing
for
since
sure.
then.
I'm just
All right,
kidding.
so now we have Hector, Alonzo, and Tony. A lot of things happening, mainly with Tony and Alonzo. At the beginning, we see when we're starting to talk about Alonzo, he's in the police station. The police are his daughter's blaming him for the police questioning of Tony. She's also questioning whether or not he wants to, whether or not he wants to be white, whether or not, I mean, these are huge real bombshells that I'm pretty sure people across America have, these conversations in their households all the time. So do you guys think Alonzo was to blame for the questioning that Tony had to go through, kind of feeding? Do you think he kind of pushed him in that direction to end up
Alonzo was the guy.
Alonzo's
the dad.
The dad. Okay, I'm sorry.
And then Tony
Tony's the one.
is the son.
in the son, because the last episode, he was like, well, why aren't you doing this? Well, what happened? He was literally pushing him
To
and it
answer
was
without a
to answer
lawyer.
yeah.
Right.
And he wasn't backing his son up. He
Right.
automatically blamed his son. That's the way that I look at it. Other people might not see it that way.
I mean, I definitely feel as a father, he should have known better than Tony. So as a son, you're going to listen to your dad, especially your dad who's trying to keep you on track and seems like the strict parent that wants you to be, better. He kept saying, my dad wants me to be better, and not just better for myself, but better than him. Don't be like these Mexicans out here. If you do bad, you're going to be Mexican. So I definitely feel like Alonzo, like what?
I think he wants no trouble.
In.
I think Alonzo wants absolutely
Right.
zero trouble with the police.
Right.
Hence why, as soon as his son was in trouble, he at that moment in
But
time.
he caused the trouble.
But no, technically he didn't though, because at that
Kinda.
moment in time, he was like, "But my son's done nothing wrong," because he hasn't. He's always been with his
But
son.
he said that, and then automatically, I felt like he said that his son wasn't to blame, but then automatically blamed him.
No. I'm talking about prior.
You know what I mean?
I'm talking about prior. I'm talking about when he was questioning him. The reason he didn't get a lawyer because he had nothing to worry about. I know that you should,
Oh,
whenever
right,
you get
right.
arrested, you should always say, "Can I have my lawyer?"
Right.
That's apparently the done thing out here. And so when it came to his dad, he was like, "Whoa, this is my 16, 17-year-old boy who's
Right.
done nothing wrong. Son, go, do what you do, defend yourself."
I do think what the sister said also says a lot about Alonzo's character. She
Right.
said, you want to be white and
Right.
you hate us for looking the way you do. And I think Alonzo in that moment was looking at himself as an equal to the police officer, which he is, but he was just saying that, I don't need a lawyer because, we're on the same page. Like exactly what you're saying. Exactly
He's like, he
what
hasn't
you're
done
saying.
nothing wrong, so why would we get the problem of a lawyer coming in?
Right.
I think
Well,
that's
that just
why
says
they
something to parents out there.
Right.
have a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Have
and
one on
don't
speed
think that
dial.
your kids are these innocent
Yeah.
creatures
It's-
because
Right.
we don't know. As humans, I'm not a parent
They
either.
innocent.
We can only help them, raise them to what we think that they should be, or help them to be. But at the end of the day, we're all our own person. You know
Right.
what I mean? So people are going to make their own decisions,
Right.
whether they have good parenting or not.
Just real quick, I want to touch on a couple of the other characters. Hector is probably going to be extradited. He had a warrant out. He's had a
Yeah, he
felony.
got back to
so
Mexico
there's
then.
right. So he'll probably be extradited. We'll see what happens next week. We've also got Carter and Aubry.
that
That
was
storyline
neat.
was very quick. Like they didn't really touch on Carter and Aubry too much in this episode, but a lot of things happened to Aubry. Obviously, at the end, we think she might have been raped. Or
Her pants were
assaulted. Her
down.
pants were down at the end of that
Yeah.
episode. I think that Aubrey's so manipulative because of the way she talks to people. She wants to get her way.
About the hotel, too.
Right. She got the hotel. She
Yes.
took her
Yes.
uncle's money and then thought she was at
Got
the
this
Ritz.
nice hotel?
I told
I
them
know.
during the break. I said, "Oh, she thinks she's Kevin McAllister and Home Alone 2. She's out there like spending all this money."
But she did make the phone call, and hopefully her uncle in the next episode will come and get her.
Are we
or find her.
100% sure it was her uncle?
We're
Yeah,
not 100%.
It sounded like
uncle.
she said uncle, but
I
it
thought
also
she said
sounded
uncle.
like she said, "I'm
Right.
cold." I'm just saying. I thought she said, "I'm cold." They said uncle. I was like, okay, uncle.
It could be that too. It could be
I
that
was like
too.
3 against 1.
One of the great things about this episode is that we also see that people who were very calm are starting to unravel all around each other. So we're going to start to see really where the onions, what's underneath the onion peel on some of these characters. But we are going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to come back with a few of your fan questions. Stay tuned.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
This is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama, tell her, go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Hey guys, welcome back to the American Crime After Show here at theStream.tv. One of the things we wanted to talk about real quick, because this show is just starting, you know, eventually it will get popular. I think after this episode, people will start to tune in.
Understand it. Sorry.
Do you guys think that America is really, are they loving this show, or are they hating it? I've been reading mixed signals. I think that people don't want to watch real things. You know, people are like, this show is going to make me so angry and I don't want to watch it, but you should be watching it because then it's going to make you think. That's just my opinion. Rotten Tomatoes, though, gave this show a 95% rating, which is amazing.
Wow.
So,
what
you know,
are the actual ratings? Does anyone know?
Well, The Walking
the
Dead
show?
has a 96 rating.
No, not like the ratings of
how the
actual
show did.
How
I
is
don't
the
know.
show doing?
I don't know. I definitely,
I haven't seen the numbers
I
yet.
haven't seen the numbers. I think probably the premiere did great. I think I heard that, but a lot of people were like, why did I watch this show? But then other people were like, I love this show. But again, I think it's...
There's been tons of chat about it. I know
yeah,
that for
a lot of chat about it.
A lot of people are,
loving it.
I've heard like just asking, oh, is it good? But people haven't watched it. So.
Yeah, it's like no one's taken the balls to go and see it themselves yet.
Yeah.
They're like,
Right.
oh, so how was it? Oh, so
Right.
how was the pilot?
Right.
It's like, go and watch it.
Right.
Go and watch it, and like Mercedeh said earlier, watch past the first episode. You have to get, like, you know, I love pilots. I love a good pilot. The West Wing had the best pilot. But every other episode after that was amazing, and this was a testament to that in tonight's episode. Okay, so we've got our first fan question. This is from last week's episode. This is from Jordan at WriterGirl47. She says, do you guys think that the first death, that was Matt, was staged? If so, who did it, or was it really a thug? So do we think that Carter shot was the one, you know, because right now we only have Carter, you know, wanted, I mean, you know, alleged, he's the murderer.
Right.
Yeah.
Then there's Hector, who is an accomplice, and then there's Tony, who was the accomplice because he had the car.
Right.
Do we think that Carter shot? Do you think it was a stage thing? Do you think that Gwen or Mark, now that we've got these
Right.
people that we don't
No.
know or
Right.
don't trust, do you think that they...
You know, I don't think Carter did it, but I'm trying to think. He never said he didn't. Like, he's not sticking up for himself. But then again, does he probably feels like he can't.
And he feels like he can't trust anybody with this information.
Something else is going on there.
But
the fact that she was sleeping with somebody else, the fact that it was a break-in. What if it wasn't a break-in?
Right.
What if the break-in was staged?
And I think that's what Jordan's
She
getting
was
at.
actually there with somebody else. He came home, saw that, out of reaction, somebody got shot.
Right.
And who knows?
But it's definitely not just going to be that.
It wasn't.
Especially-
I don't think it was
especially-
Carter. I'm going to say that. I
especially
don't
since-
think it was
especially
Carter.
since she was not, we find out that she wasn't assaulted. So if she wasn't assaulted
But didn't
or
something come
raped,
back saying
wasn't she
assaulted
in
with an instrument?
That was what I mean. I think once I think the charges on Carter, will be amended because of what the doctor found. So the charges of rape will be amended. That's no question.
True.
But do we think that Gwen staged this whole thing? Will be what we are going to try to find out
when she wakes up.
When she wakes up.
She will wake up.
What if she's just pretending to be asleep? I saw a thing a couple of weeks. I saw a thing a couple of weeks ago where this guy like faked being in a coma for like months.
Can't doctors tell if someone's not in a coma?
Apparently not. This is a real story. This is a real story. So I don't know. Maybe Gwen's just laying in there. She's just like
loving the hospital life right now.
Right.
She's like, this morphine is
these people.
I don't know. Whoever would want to live that life. Right. Oh my God.
You get to be. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Our next fan question. Our next fan statement actually is from Harley B at Harley B11. She says, police classified Aubry as a victim. In my opinion, she'll be the puppet master pulling Carter's criminal strings, and that goes back to what I said about Aubry being manipulative.
Yeah.
I think that in the first scene where Carter was in the where he's being arraigned, he tried to say something to Aubry. I don't think that she was very receptive of whatever he was trying to say.
You guys are cutting her down. I feel so bad for Aubry. I'm not gonna lie. I am like Team Aubry right now.
Do you feel bad for Aubry because she doesn't? She has.
I want to know. I want to know what she. Apparently now Carter's gone. She has nothing except her uncle. What has happened to her family? Where is her family?
Right.
I need to know more about her before we start saying anything about her. I don't think she's manipulative at all. I think she is a woman, and she definitely tries to use her charm and her looks to get her own way. Don't get me wrong, she does. Like when she was trying to talk to the police, she got angry, then all of a sudden she dropped.
But do you find that to be a manipulative way of doing things?
Well, she wanted to see Carter. So she was going to do everything she could to see Carter.
And I think she wanted to see Carter because she no longer has a protective.
Yeah. I agree.
She's in love with the guy.
That's why she called her uncle.
But I don't think she cares who's protecting her. She just wants the closest thing to protect her.
I don't think she has anyone else that understands, because when you're a drug addict and there's people around you that don't do drugs, they don't get that lifestyle.
So
tell us, man.
To Harley's
never done drugs.
To Harley's point, do you think that she might have dragged Carter into this drug life? Like it might have been a thing where she was the one that pulled Carter into this life that he just didn't.
But the way it's getting viewed is that the black guy pulled in the cute white blonde girl. Maybe that's the way they're playing it.
Right. Who knows?
But then is that too many twists? Is Gwen and her too many?
Who knows?
You think there's too much
Who
going
knows
on?
what can happen?
We'll find out.
Soon.
We'll find out.
Our last fan statement for the show came from Nora Zuckerman, who is actually the writer for Suits, the show on USA. What? She says, for all its authenticity, this is the funny part, I don't buy the drug dealers in American Crime really watching revenge. Nice placement. So last week, we see, and I only brought this up because it's so funny that ABC has revenge. In the back, Aubry and Carter are back there doing this thing, and in their room, and Revenge is playing.
You're so right. I can see it coming.
Revenge is the thing on the television. So I thought it was just very, very funny that they
they
were watching
that is hilarious.
They kind of put that
That's
in
really funny.
We definitely want to know more about what you guys are thinking. Definitely a couple of Twitter shout outs to at I am Timothy Michael and at Infrared45, who brought up a fact about the bartender. I made a comment last week about the bartender maybe being racist. I actually watched it back again. And I think you guys mentioned the fact that they
were mad that he was
buying. They got one glass.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to point that out and say, yeah, you were definitely right. I had to go back and watch it out again.
I still think.
But lots of things coming up this season. So make sure you are staying tuned. Watch it again if you have to. If you're so confused, we will be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube, watching your comments and commenting back. Check us out next week, same time, 8:15 here, 11:15 on the East Coast. Watch it, and we will see you guys next week. And make sure you subscribe to theStream.tv. We'll see you then.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
For more of the American Crime After Show, subscribe right here to theStream.tv.